Last month, a judge issued a temporary restraining order blocking her from making those appointments without approval from Trump.
I am about to address some things as the supervisor. There will be no comments. There will be anything. It'll just be me addressing you guys to tell you what's going on.
Get ready for some serious drama because
Get ready for some intense drama because today we're stepping into the chaotic, tangled, and almost unbelievable world of Dalton, Illinois. Meet Mayor Tiffany Henyard, the first woman to ever lead this small village. But instead of making history for her achievements, she's grabbing headlines for all the wrong reasons. Dalton is going to tell me what you have in your mouth tonight. He's been cooking Mexican food, and slowly he opens his mouth to show us a big piece of meat. Henyard finds herself at the center of one of the most outrageous political scandals you've likely never heard of. But trust me, by the end of this, you'll be hooked on every detail. Whoop, whoop. So obviously right now there's a...
I'm an investigator. I've got some books to come here. Inside I have from the United States District Court.
Here's the twist. Despite being under multiple investigations, facing allegations of misusing public funds, and basically being accused of every scandal imaginable, Henyard just announced she's running for re-election. That's right, tree-election. Now, why would someone surrounded by so much controversy willingly jump back into the political fire? We're about to break it all down, and by the end of this video, we just might have the answer. First, let's set the scene. Henyard's rise to power was seen as a historic moment for Dalton, a small village just south of Chicago. In 2021, she became the first woman to hold the position of mayor, and the community was hopeful. She ran on a platform promising change, transparency, and a better quality of life for Dalton's residents. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, it didn't take long for that dream to unravel. Almost immediately after taking office, Henyard's leadership style drew criticism. Trustees, residents, and even former allies began accusing her of running the village like her personal kingdom, making decisions behind closed doors, and most infamously, treating taxpayer money like it was her own monopoly cash. By 2022, just 1 year into her term, voters had enough. They actually recalled her. That's right, Dalton residents voted to kick her out of office. But here's where it gets even crazier. Henyard didn't back down. She challenged the recall decision in court, and somehow the Illinois Appellate Court threw out the recall votes. Just like that, she was back in office, acting like nothing had happened. Call it resilience or call it defiance, but one thing's for sure, she wasn't going anywhere. You'd think after such a close call, Henyard might lay low, try to mend fences, or avoid making new enemies. But no, she doubled down. In fact, things only escalated. Enter the FBI. Yup, earlier this year, the FBI showed up at Dalton Village Hall, and no, they weren't there for a friendly chat. They were digging into the village's financial records, and what they found wasn't pretty. At the heart of this chaos are accusations that Henyard has been using village funds for, well, some incredibly lavish expenses. And by lavish, we're not talking office essentials. Think extravagant parties, luxurious trips, and personal shopping sprees. One investigation revealed that Henyard spent tens of thousands of taxpayer dollars on, you guessed it, an Amazon shopping spree. Yes, Dalton's residents have been unknowingly funding her online splurges. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Remember the Christmas party she hosted? The one featuring singer Kiki Wyatt and rapper Jay Holiday? That event cost the village over $85,000. Who throws a party that expensive on a mayor's salary? Oh, right, she did. And she used village funds to do it. Now back to the FBI. They're not just skimming through credit card receipts, they're diving deep into every financial record they can find. Allegations include Henyard awarding lucrative contracts to businesses owned by friends and family without adhering to proper legal procedures. There are even claims of her accepting bribes from contractors in exchange for favorable treatment. It sounds like the plot of a political drama, but unfortunately for Dalton, it's very real. And the drama doesn't end there. Earlier this year, a judge ruled against her blocking Henyard from appointing key positions like police chief and village attorney without proper board approval. But instead of following the court's orders, she tried to push through the appointments anyway, sparking yet another legal battle. Henyard, of course, claims the trustees are simply out to get her, but the village remains stuck in the crossfire of her defiance. And it gets even more bizarre. Henyard isn't just battling legal challenges, her personal life is also playing out in the courtroom. For a while, rumors swirled about her relationship with a man who's now become a key player in the scandal, and in a twist no one saw coming, he took the stand against her. Yes, Henyard's own boyfriend testified in court, alleging that she used village funds for personal expenses like lavish vacations and high-end dinners. So much so that I got the two bank measures. He even shared details of their private conversations about how to spend taxpayer money, conversations that are now out in the open for everyone to hear. At this point, it seems unimaginable that someone with this level of controversy would think they could win another election. The FBI is closing in, her boyfriend has turned on her, and the village is in financial turmoil. Yet, somehow, Henyard is doubling down, pushing forward with her re-election campaign, as if none of this is happening. And here's where things get even shadier. Critics allege that she's using public events to gather voter data. Events like Christmas toy giveaways and Halloween parties. These gatherings seem innocent on the surface, but residents are required to register to attend, handing over personal details like phone numbers and addresses. It doesn't take a genius to see how this data could be used to influence the election. Many are calling it manipulative and unethical, but Henyard appears unfazed, running her campaign as if it's just another day in politics. One commenter nailed the situation perfectly. Nothing is free. She's giving away what's not hers to give. Another summed it up. If Tiffany doesn't run for office, she'll look guilty of everything she's accused of. And honestly, that's the impression Henyard seems to be banking on, using her re-election bid to deflect from the mounting accusations. Tiffany's honor. Tiffany's honor is an issue. Doubts about its moral worth, life, and liberty. The more Henyard fights to hold on to power, the guiltier she seems. What makes this situation even wilder is her attempt to play the victim. She's been vocal on social media, claiming that all these accusations are part of a calculated smear campaign by her political enemies. Posts like, "If God is for us, who can be against us?" flood her feeds as she rallies her supporters to stand by her. But here's the thing, her support base is shrinking rapidly. Village trustees who've been clashing with her for years have had enough. And then there are the residents, who've watched in frustration as Dalton's finances spiral into a $3 million deficit. Oh, and it gets worse. Even former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot has been dragged into the mess. Lightfoot was hired to audit Dalton's finances, and the result? Disgusting pieces of dangling clothing collecting dust underfoot. Drop-off footprints. She says that surprising food used a bullet pointing straight up and tried to save face. Let's just say they weren't pretty. Millions of dollars are unaccounted for, receipts are missing, and it's becoming clear that Henyard may have treated village funds like her personal piggy bank. So, what's Henyard's game plan? It seems like she's relying on a classic political move. Muddy the waters so much that no one knows what to believe. By framing everything as a conspiracy against her, she's trying to paint herself as a victim of political sabotage. And in an era where many people are already skeptical of politicians, this strategy might actually work. But there's also a strong chance this could blow up in her face. If the FBI investigation leads to an indictment, or more insiders from her camp start flipping on her, it could be game over for Henyard. Speaking of flipping, let's talk about her trustees. One of the most puzzling parts of this saga is how Henyard still has a few allies left, despite most of the village leadership turning against her. Take trustee Andrew Holmes, for instance. Known as a community activist, Holmes has been one of her staunchest supporters, even as his own reputation takes a hit, Critics are now questioning whether he's more interested in protecting Henyard than actually serving the village. Then there's Stan Brown, another trustee who once seemed poised to turn against Henyard. Now, no one knows where he stands. Some say he's just indecisive, while others believe he's playing both sides to stay out of trouble. Either way, the village leadership is in total disarray, with infighting and no clear direction. And as if things weren't chaotic enough, Henyard is now suing the village trustees and the Dalton Park District. Her claim? They've been holding illegal meetings outside of Village Hall. She's accusing them of violating transparency laws and undermining her authority. It's a power struggle on steroids, and at this point, actual governance in Dalton seems impossible. The trustees, for their part, are trying to keep the village afloat, but Henyard's endless lawsuits and legal battles are making that nearly impossible. So, what do you think? Is Henyard going to pull off a win in this re-election bid, or is she headed for a spectacular political downfall? And what's your take on her public events and voter registration tactics? Manipulative or just politics as usual? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you think about this wild ride. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time with even more jaw-dropping updates.